You're watching the TCMMA podcast.
Now, as we creep into the co-main event, I can't stress how big of a fight this is. Alexa Grasso, the champ, versus Shevchenko. So when they fought the first time, Shevchenko lost the belt in the second round or third round. I can't remember which one it was, but it took a little while and then it happened. She gave up the back, happened very quickly, and she got submitted. Second fight, she comes in. I believe she won the fight. We'll get into the stats here in a minute, but it ended up being a draw. In the prediction, I'm actually wrong. I'll let you know ahead of time. It wasn't a loss by Shevchenko, but it was a draw. And that's what made the, because as I'm doing the prediction, I'm like, why did she lose twice and there's a rematch? Because I made the mistake that it was actually a draw. And that creates the rematch. But I thought Shevchenko won that fight. But listen, man, when you leave it in the judges' hands, these judges, dog, these judges. So if I'm Shevchenko, I can't leave this one in the judges' hands. I got to go in there and plan on getting the victory. That's the bottom line. But will she get it? That doesn't mean we're picking her. As you've seen before, take our pick seriously. Plan on winning every time. And we got to break it down and go for the win, not who we necessarily like. But then again, that's why the do list was created, because it does get confusing with some guys you really believe who are going to beat anybody. But let's get into this one. Co-main event. Big one from Mexico right now. In the women's flyweight division, for the women's flyweight division title, your co-main event at UFC 306, you got champion Alexa Grasso taking on Valentina Shevchenko, the former champ. This is the trilogy, and Grasso has won each of the last two fights. We'll get into that in a moment. Now Grasso 16-3, Shevchenko 23-4. Both women stand 5-5. Grasso 31, Shevchenko's 36. Shevchenko 1-inch reach advantage. She fights left-handed. Grasso fights right-handed. Grasso is more active on the feet, believe it or not. Right, 4.7 significant strikes per minute to 3.3. But on the ground, in terms of takedowns, even though Grasso submitted Shevchenko in the first fight, it's Shevchenko that lands nearly one takedown per round, and that is held up against Grasso, where she has 8 takedowns in the last 2 fights, and many people believe she won the last fight, right? Now, Grasso, 59% takedown defense, not great. Shevchenko took her down 4 times in the last fight. Grasso led 84-80 in significant strikes, so it was very close, but people feel like Shevchenko won with those 4 takedowns in control time. In the previous fight, Grasso submitted Shevchenko in the 4th round. But you got to consider, in 9 rounds, Shevchenko has 8 takedowns. It seems like she got better in the second fight, and in fact may have even won the fight, despite the judges' decision, right? 2 judges for Grasso, 1 judge for Shevchenko. So this fight is going to be very, very close. It's going to come down to the wire, and Shevchenko is going to win, or Shevchenko is just going to go out there and try to dominate in the first 2 rounds and get a finish. But one way or another, I believe Shevchenko is going to win this fight. I cannot see her falling to the same person 3 times in a row. It's just not going to happen, in my opinion. Although Grasso is a really good fighter and a bona fide champion. But it's hard to beat someone or another team 3 times in a row. We all know that in sports. So I like Shevchenko to have the edge here. The fight is basically a toss-up. It's even. Both fighters basically even, as we saw in the last fight, except Shevchenko landing a lot more takedowns than Grasso. We'll see if that pays off here. I believe it will. Shevchenko by decision in my book, but we'll take her to win one way or the other to get the title back and move to 24-4 here in the women's flyweight division for the title. Your co-main event at UFC 306. And again, the last fight was a draw, not a loss by Shevchenko, so it's not like Grasso's trying to win 3 times in a row. The momentum seems to be in Shevchenko's corner, as long as she doesn't get submitted, which Grasso, we see now, we know, is very capable of doing. But Shevchenko's going to have to dominate the ground and take the lead in significant strikes. That's the thing here is, yeah, position, but you got to land significant strikes too, even on the ground. You can't be down 84-80 and let the judges be confused. You got to have 4 or 5 takedowns, and you got to lead, like, let's just say 90-65 in significant strikes, make it obvious, and you get the title back. And very capable of doing that, and that's in fact what I think is going to happen.
He's gonna fight, wait, he's gon' fight. Wait, hold your breath till the end of the night. Last fighter call, UFC at its height. Yeah, bringing that thunder with all his might, saying step up, wanna fight? Hold up, think twice. Gladiator, assassin, reckless, no abandon. Walk through that cage, he'll leave your ass.